Good evening, everyone. It's 6:35 on Tuesday, April 2nd, 2019. I'll call the Parish Shirley Regional School Committee meeting regular session to order. Those attending tonight's meeting should be aware that the meeting is being recorded audio and video recorded by our friends at APAC and ASRSD. Any audience members who wish to record any part of the meeting must inform the chair who will announce the recording. This is to comply with the MA wiretap statute. The listings of matters are those reasonably anticipated by the chair, which may be discussed at the meeting. Not all items listed may in fact be discussed, and other items not listed may also be brought up for discussion to the extent permitted by law. With that, we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You notice it's this is a butterfly or something like that.
Something that could vertically.
Yes. All right. Roll call. Mr. Quinty.
Present.
Mr. Simmons. Ms. Granger. And I am Jonathan DeFord here. Ms. Russos is not with us this evening. All right. Shandy, the stage is yours.
Alright, so Mark was pretty, so April. Not much is happening. A lot of teachers are just getting ready for APs, so we're kind of just cramming in like the last weeks of information before we have to study and take the tests in May. So yeah, that's just like, I mean, things coming up are like on AP exams, but they're just I guess I talked to a couple more students. So like since it's the end of the year, a lot of seniors have things to say like about what they like, what they didn't like. And then what they wanted was more field trips. Like a lot of the AP Gov kids love the like trip they took. And so like a lot of other students were like, oh, I wish we took more trips. So like for science, we were like, oh, we should take a trip to like, I don't know, lab, so we can see like what they do there. And then same for like physics, like we could take somewhere else, and like not just like AP classes, but like you have to take dollars and cents as an elective, so you can graduate. And it's supposed to teach you about like how to manage your bills and how to manage like when you get like a bank account, but it's still not like having the same effect because sometimes like the curriculum gets lost and like the teacher doesn't actually do that, and so then you're just like in class, like you're wasting half a semester. Whereas like if we were like allowed to like go out and like maybe like open a bank account and like see how we do on our own, it would help us more. So like a lot of people help me with that. Also, they implemented this new rule that when you're tardy for like a certain amount of time, like 3 times, you get detention. And they never said anything about it. They just kind of put it in the newsletter. And like I look at the newsletters, but that's just because like sometimes like new things come up that like I need to see, and sometimes like I have to put stuff in the newsletter, like I know it comes out and like I see it, but other students don't, and like a lot of people just don't check their emails, especially like my age. So then like a lot of them just didn't know. So then a lot of people like were told like the day of, oh, you have detention after school with this teacher, and then they were like, why do I have detention? Like, and it's because of the tardies. And I mean, it makes sense like when you're tardy, like okay, fine, so like decrease the amount, but we were never told about it. So a lot of people were like mad about that because I know like 2 people might stay out for detention today. It was like they were told today because they didn't. So there's more communication with like administration. And then, the good thing is today I student shadowed me, and she's from Burlington. So she came from like a really big school district, and she really liked her school. And at first I was like, oh really? I mean, not like her school's bad. Like I love it, but like in my I thought that she would like her old school better because it was bigger and like there were more students. But she was like, no, she like really like the feel, the vibe that she got. She liked the teachers because she had to like she went to all my classes, and she loved our labs. Like she really thought that it was great that because she was telling me that some of her classes don't even have windows. So then like I started to realize like how lucky we are. So to have like this really nice experience, that kind of thing.
What was she shadowing you for? Was she considering coming here or was she?
Yeah, she's coming here for her senior year. Oh, and another thing she said is I didn't realize that we offer so many AP classes because at her old school, she was like, we don't offer half the classes anymore. Which was crazy because she came from Burlington. I mean, they offered like different ones like psych, which we don't offer, but we have the co-op program with the mouth, which I took, which is just better anyways. But like, they don't have AP principles, like they don't have AP, they have AP US history, but they don't have AP government.
So how many pinch plots did you do on Arts Night?
I don't know, like maybe 50, I or something.
You
They're
did
so-
very well with the kids.
Thank you. And they're like, it's so, I love Arts Night and hate at the same time. Because when they go on the wheel, they're so excited. And it's like, what time's up? But then you don't want to say anything because then they'll just get sad. And it's like, but then there's like a whole line of kids like waiting to go.
So thanks to you, the next day my son asked if he could get a pottery wheel. And how
No.
much it cost. So both of my kids really enjoyed it. And then the other thing is, can you talk about the painting you're doing down at the Ford dealership?
Oh yeah, so so it's my independent study and then the portfolio independent study. It's like 5 students. We're going down to the dealership every 8 block, like every other day, and then we're painting a mural. And actually, I have a picture of what it looks like, and then I have a picture of
How's it coming? Like, how close are you guys to be?
so we have to draw it on, and I'm gonna paint it, and we underestimated how much time we needed. It's probably like a month, but it's been a month, and it's not done, or close to being done. So, we're trying to see if we can get extra students to help us. So, hopefully it will be done by then.
I saw one of the pictures where you're projecting the lines up on the wall so you can trace them.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool. Pretty cool to see everyone up on scaffolding and, really, it's been a couple of years since the project was initially pitched, so it's great to see them down there. And, that'll be a great addition to the Ford dealership.
Oh, one battery, just so you know. Oh, look at that, that's cool.
Oh,
Wow. Oh yeah, and I think if you look on their Facebook, they have pictures of this.
They've
The
been
stages.
Yeah, they've been posting it, but they haven't posted one that far along yet. So.
That's excellent. Not that I didn't expect it to be, but that's excellent.
Well, that's awesome. It's great how it brings in the. I like how you incorporated the ASRSD logo even in the high school. It's awesome. And here, it's actually correct in where it's supposed to be. You can pass it down.
I love the old and the new vehicles.
Yeah.
Do you guys want to see?
Really like our office space.
Yeah.
Do you guys want to see?
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's really good.
Anything else for Sharon?
Make a decision?
Parents are, my parents are so sad. They're like, are you in a decision? I'm like, I don't know. Because UMass, I was thinking about it, and I really do like UMass Amherst, and they did give me a lot of money. And, like, I'd be going to school basically for free, but I love Boston College, and I love Northeastern, and Northeastern is better for my major, just because like it's a research university, so then like for biochemistry, like I have more opportunities with like labs, like in the city and general. And then Boston College, I love Boston College. Like I visited it, and then it was like I was in Hogwarts, and I was like, oh, this is like the dream. And then like US Amherst is like great, but then it's also like in the middle of nowhere. So I was like, I don't know. I need to make one soon, but I have the idea.
Coin toss.
It's
Go with your heart and what works for you, what's best for your goals.
I'm just glad that was changed.
Right.
And you cannot make a bad choice.
Right.
There's no bad choice.
$200,000 in debt. I feel like that's pretty good.
Nah, it's only money.
Well, if you're in a field that you're going to need to do your master's, you got to keep that in mind too.
Yeah,
right.
That's more of an expense down the road, and unless you have a company that'll pay for it.
I want to go to either dental or med school. So like, my parents were like, you sure you want to do 45K a year? And I was like,
You'll make the right choice.
hopefully.
There's no wrong choice.
Everybody here wishes we were you. You should also realize that too.
Actually, no.
No,
Oh, I'm not gonna do it again.
No.
Thank you guys.
All right, thank you.
Yeah,
very much.
Shandy,
Shandy.
Shandy. Good luck, Shandy. Next time we see you, you'll have a choice.
I know, nobody pass my personal.
Shandy's going to feedback, she's on the high school advisory, so she just.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's the third side. Thanks for reminding me.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Shandy.
Thank you.
All right, is there any public participation this evening? Mr. Dentino, good evening. Just in time for the public participation section. All right, so if folks don't mind, I'm just gonna put chairman's notes up briefly here. And just sort of explain. So last week, Dan Gleason resigned his position on the school committee, effective March 29th. For those of you at home, Mr. Gleason served both the Air Public Schools School Committee and the Air Shirley Regional School Committee for 11 and a half years. And so, admittedly, this is understated, but thank you to Mr. Gleason for his contributions during that time. In his resignation letter, he was very complimentary of many folks we worked with over these 11 years, including his former and current committee members and superintendents. He looks forward to observing the district's future successes as we go along. He originally had intended to resign earlier this spring, but I asked him to stay until the budget was finalized. So as you probably have seen, the town of Air has posted the vacancy as of yesterday. The posting needs to stay up for at least 7 days. I believe they extended it to 9. And what will then happen is at the April 16, 2019 Air BOS meeting, it'll be a joint meeting of the Air Board of Selectmen and Michelle and Cheryl. And anyone who has submitted a letter of interest can be interviewed, and then they will vote to appoint someone similar to how Cheryl came to us last year. What will happen is, I believe it's our policy meeting. Dan's successor will hold the office effective until April 2020 town of Air election, at which time the remaining 1-year term will be up for election. So what will end up happening on that ballot is it'll be a 1-year term, and then the 3-year position that Michelle currently is holding. So there'll be 2 positions in that election. Happy to answer any questions going forward. If anyone is interested in the position, the details are on the Town of Air's website. You basically send an email with a resume and a letter to the town administrator, which they'll pass the information to Cheryl and Michelle prior to the April 16th meeting. And then that person will join us at our next meeting when they're so appointed. But if anyone in TV land has a question, they can email me at jdeforge@asrsd.org. So I just wanted to sort of get that out of the way, so we're running a man down for the next couple of weeks. So that's that. All right. So next we have our consent agenda. This evening we have, in our consent agenda, we have March 25th regular session minutes. We have some very generous, a warrant memo, and we have some very generous donations. $3,000 from Analog Devices for the Air Shirley Regional Middle School Robotics Program. $823.05 from Synopsys for the Air Shirley Regional High School First Robotics Competition. Team 4905 Andromeda 1. $126 to Laura White Elementary School from the Hannaford Help Schools Program, and $300 to the Laura White School from Arbella Insurance Foundation, Boston Symphony Orchestra School Bus Grant Program to support the teacher, Crystal Lopez. Excuse me, so with that, I will take a motion, if there are no changes, to include the consent agenda. Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? There being none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Zero. All right, new business, our FY18 auditor's report. Michelle Stevensburg from Melanson Teeth is here to present to us. Good evening.
Hi there. Thank you for inviting me here to talk about the results of your 2018 audit. Thank you very much, Bill, Mary, and staff for their assistance during the audit process. I understand that you have a copy of the 18 audited financial statements as well as the governance letter. Those are two of the deliverables that are part of the audit engagement. And I'm going to just go through very briefly and point out some of the highlights of those. I'm going to start with the independent auditor's report. That's a couple pages in, page 2 of the audited financial statements. Middle of the page is the opinion paragraph. This is really when you're reading audited financial statements. This is really your first stop, or should be your first stop, is to look at what type of opinion your financial statements received. This is what is called a clean or unmodified audit opinion. It says that we believe the financial statements are materially fairly stated in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles. I also wanted to mention, I'm going to jump ahead to the numbers pages, and on page 11 of your financial statements is the statement of net position. And the statement of net position is a financial statement that's required for governmental financial statements. It's been, for governmental entities in the last few years, it's been changing quite significantly because of some new accounting standards that have been required. In fiscal year 18, there was an implementation of a new accounting standard. It's called GASB, Governmental Accounting Standards Board, statement number 75, which replaces statement number 45, which you have had on this page in your financial statements. It relates to other post-employment benefits, which is an unfunded liability that is calculated by your actuary, and it exists because you allow your retirees to participate in health insurance programs. So what has happened prior to the implementation of GASB 75 is that there was a portion of the unfunded liability that was required to be reported on this page of the financial statements. The new standard says instead of reporting a portion of the liability, you report the entire amount of the liability. And that has increased significantly. It's about $17 million liability as of June 30, 2018, which was an increase of about $7 million. The other unfunded liability that impacts this page in your financial statements is related to what they call the net pension liability under GASB 68. And that is the unfunded liability that relates to your participation in the Middlesex County retirement system. It's your proportionate share of the unfunded liability. So those are two big things that have impacted this page in the financial statements. And again, I wanted to mention the unfunded liability. It's not something that you have to budget for, and this is a page in the financial statements that is typically used by bond rating agencies, and it doesn't look anything like what you see from your accounting system. That's a different method of accounting I'll talk about in a minute. But it does have the impact of negatively impacting that page in the financial statements. So the page of the financial statements that really is more closely aligned to your financial information that you get on a regular basis from the district's accounting system is on page 13 with the balance sheet, the governmental funds balance sheet. And this page of the financial statements has multiple columns showing the funds. So you have your general fund, your capital projects fund. In 2018, there were what is called under the accounting standards major funds. So the circuit breaker fund and the school choice fund, they calculate to be a major fund. And so that's why they're showing separately on the financial statements. Non-major governmental funds represents all of the other revolving funds and grant funds. But the key column on the fund basis financial statements was really in the general fund column, and particularly the fund balance section. And you have three categories of fund balance in the general fund. Committed at 762, 779, and that represents your stabilization fund balances at that point in time. 334,057, that represents the monies that you have budgeted for FY19 to offset your assessments. It's about 170 something thousand, with the remaining amount being encumbrances. And the remaining balance in the general fund balance section is unassigned, $1,542,027. commonly referred to in Massachusetts school districts as E&D. It's really the E&D starting point. When you go to get your E&D certified, they kind of start with that, and then if you have any deficits in any other funds and a few other items that can take that down a notch. That number that you're looking at, June 30, 2018, is pretty much dead on at the max that you can have it at 5% of your budget. Questions? Other key pages in the financial statements. The income statement is on page 15, and that's the fund basis section. And again, you have multiple columns that show the net income or the change in fund balance for the general fund, capital projects, and all of the other funds. On page 17, you have the general fund budget versus actual. This is a key indicator of how well the district is doing. We have a variance column that shows on the far right of the page with the very last number in that column, a positive 594,167. So that's a key indicator. It's comprised of underspent appropriations of 157,000 and also taking in more revenue than you budgeted of about 456,000. Other items to point out, something new in fiscal 2018, pages 18 and 19, is the OPEB, or Other Post-Employment Benefits Trust Fund. So that is steps that the district took to offset the unfunded liability that I talked about on the statement of deposition. And in 2018, it funded about $20,000. Other fiduciary funds that reside on that same page, pages 18 and 19, are private purpose trust funds, representing your scholarship funds, and agency funds, your student activity funds. Questions?
When you were talking about the shift from CASB 45 to 75 and the effect on bond rating, I'm expecting and hopefully that affected everybody the same, so people's bond ratings weren't all of a sudden flipped all over the place because sort of everybody's in the same hole. Is that a good assumption?
That's a very good assumption, and I neglected to mention that. These unfunded liabilities are nothing new. They've existed. It's just that you're required to report them now. And the bond rating agencies have been aware that these liabilities have existed. They just haven't been presented in the financial statements. Anybody that's getting a clean audit opinion, as you have in 2018, would be required to put these liabilities on that page in the financial statements. So it should not have an effect of affecting your bond rating negatively. I didn't talk about the footnote disclosure. There's probably about 15 or 20 pages now that goes into great detail about what makes up that liability, how it's calculated, and so forth. Other questions? The other document that you should have received is the governance letter. This is required communication that we required to communicate to you as a school committee. It talks about our responsibilities, your responsibilities, if there are any issues identified, and there are some recommendations in here. So in lieu of a separate management letter document, included in the governance letter are recommendations for improvements in internal control and efficiencies. The recommendations are similar to what was recommended in the prior year. I also wanted to mention the two final deliverables. There's going to be a separate, what they call a single audit report. That's a separate audit report on your compliance with the federal requirements on your federally funded grant programs. The programs that are getting audited this year are the National School Lunch Program as well as the IDEA grant. That's currently in progress. And then also there is a separate report. It's not really an audit report. It's what they call an agreed upon procedures report. What it relates to is specific steps that are required by the state of Massachusetts in reviewing your end of year report. So they have some specific steps that need to be filed, and we report on those to them. So that is essentially done at this point. I think it's in the review stage.
Thank you. Any other questions? Questions here?
As a part of your audit practice, you look over cash on minor accounts that concessions, control of those types of things, fundraisers, and what was your general mission?
On the student activity funds and
Right.
things like that. That is one of the recommendations that's included in the governance letter. The requirement in Massachusetts for the review of student activity funds is that every third year an independent auditor looks at the internal controls with respect to the student activity funds, and we did that last year. And then on the off years, every 2 years, you're supposed to be doing that, taking those steps internally, so designating somebody, typically it's the treasurer or somebody maybe on the school committee or a volunteer, to follow the state's. It's an audit program that talks about reviewing procedures and controls and testing and so forth. That is one thing that did not happen in fiscal 2018. That was not performed internally. And we raised it as a finding in that report.
Any other questions, concerns, comments?
One other audit that you might have missed was the end of year report audit as well. Is that also being done?
I had just mentioned that is the specific steps the state has us looking at. We're pretty close to completion on that one too.
And the corrective actions will come off of the findings of the governance letter and the
Right.
end of year report?
Yep. On the governance letter, those recommendations that are included in the governance letter are also required to be reported in the single audit report that goes to the federal audit clearinghouse. And so you will have to provide your steps for corrective action on that as well.
I'll provide that to the committee, that's in the single audit as well.
Great. Thank you. Thank you. That's it. Any other questions? Thank you very much. Thanks for coming to visit us tonight. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Sharon.
All right. Moving on the financial update, Mr. Polton, you had something for us this evening?
I do. Item 7B1 is the FY19 budget memo, update memo. And I took a snapshot of the general fund. I took our accounting software and uploaded an Excel spreadsheet with all of our general fund accounts. And we currently have $28,322,491 budgeted in the general fund. To date, as of March 28th, we have $16,545,561 expended. And as of the same date, we have $11,167,427 encumbered. Means it's already been earmarked for expenditure for processing payment, leaving us a budget balance in the general fund of $585,503. Now, with that comes a few caveats. First, just a couple of highlights. Most of the positive balance is due to salaries, where we have budget amounts remaining, and health insurance. We have a slight change in our head count, as I mentioned, I think during a early budget preparation this year. So we're showing about a $280,000 balance in the health insurance line. We do need to move some money to the retiree line and some other lines like Medicare tax, and I think there was a shortage in a couple of the other insurance accounts. We're going to have those transfers for you in May. The next bullet we have a deficit balance in maintenance of building. We've been doing a lot of work in all of the schools, especially Lower White Page Hilltop. Sped transportation is running a little bit higher than anticipated. We did have one FY18 bill paid in FY19, and we're seeing an increased cost with the roofs, some of the roofs that were developed, and we have 45-day placements that we did not anticipate that need special transportation, and we have the life skills program here at the high school, which is using some routes and some rides that we didn't anticipate as well. So that is running a little bit higher. We're gonna need to move some money over there with the budget transfers to cover that. And high school electricity, we do have a large encumbrance, but we checked on that, and it is appropriate. That's about 3 months worth of bills, 67,000. That's about what it's for the high school, so we're gonna be taking a look at the usage there to see what's going on. And also, we really haven't applied a lot of the net metering credits yet. They've been spread between the 3 buildings that use National Grid, and we have started to apply some of those credits over the last few bills. We will continue to incur expenditures through the remainder of FY19. I think when it's all said and done, we will be with about 1% within our budget amounts, which would be about $280,000, give or take. We have all of our revenues are on target. We've been watching carefully our Chapter 70, our Medicaid, which was over, which led to that revenues that were excess of budget last year, $436,000 that Cheryl mentioned, and all of our major revolving funds are in positive balances. Looking at the big ones, school choice, circuit breaker, athletics, food service, and building rental, non-resident tuition, all have positive balances. So we have 1 quarter left to go. There'll be a lot of bills to come in at the end of the year, so it will be a flurry, but we'll stay on top of it. And there, 7B2 is the Excel spreadsheet. I did a little bit differently. I just left it in the Excel spreadsheet format, so you can see every single account with the budget, the expenditures to date, the balance, the encumbrance, and then the budget balance for each line. And then it's all totaled up at the bottom. Normally I would provide a PDF, export a PDF, but this is right out of Excel.
Great snapshot that you can see exactly where we're at. You said what, the 3/4 ball, right? So,
Yes, yep. Yep, we just entered the last quarter of the fiscal year.
so thank you for presenting this. It's always good to see that we're showing in a good place. Up, down, I guess, it doesn't matter how you say it, but we have more money than we've expended so our conference, so that's a good place to get from. Any questions for Mr. Polkin on the financial update? Okay. All right, great, thank you very much. See you back in May with the transfers. Exciting time. Okay. Dr. Malone, you have our William Jennings interface report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I provide with you a report from Interface, and as you know, in the past, Mrs. Betsy Dolan would typically come and present the report to you. If you look at the first page, it number of cases since 2013, 140, and it lists all the reporting periods since the district joined Interface, and tells you the number of referrals or calls from each district here in Shirley or each town, and then a total. So the most recent reporting period was from July 1st, 2018 through November 30th, 2018. And it says this reporting period is 1 month shorter in duration due to change in reporting schedule. So we had a total number of calls to Interface at 31, so it was significantly down from the prior reporting period. And as you know, in this budget, the FY20 budget, the school department has assumed the cost of the $12,000 to be a member of Interface. And we also have joined a co-op with FLAC, our educational collaborative, and so that keeps the price down. So I think it was going to go up to about $12,500, and so we're going to stay at the $12,000. And then continuing on, it gives you some more information about data trends, and the majority of calls were from air. The referrals were fairly split between children and adults. This reporting period, there were more referrals for males, but it was almost evenly split between males and females. Most of the callers continued to be parents who learned about the services through the school system. The majority of callers this reporting period were requesting help for anxiety, 15, trauma, 11. Additionally, 8 referrals for individuals who reported family-related issues, 7 reported struggles with ADD, ADHD, and or depression, and 2 calls reported suicidal ideation, currently in the past. And as of April 21st, on the second page or the back page that we have, they began collecting demographic information, so the age of the client to be served, and the majority of referrals identified their household income is between $25,000 and $29,999 per year. Though callers were represented in nearly all income brackets, and most of the adult referrals identified being employed on a full or part-time basis in or out of the home. So the preponderance of the callers, if you look at age of clients, around teenagers through adults, 59 years, and 2 are older than 60. And the gender of the client to be served, it was split 14 female, 15 male. And the source, 8 came from high school, 1 from middle school. Cole and Russell, those were our high-district placements, Dearborn, Pittsburgh State, Lower White, H. Hilltop, and then the Russell Street Elementary and Linton. And the type of callers, the predominance was parents at 16 and self at 12. And then the last page talks about presenting concerns and the numbers it folded. So as I read it a little bit earlier, ADD, ADHD, anxiety, depression, family-related issues, and then trauma. So I would commend the school committee for their support and approval of Interface, because it is supporting our families, and there obviously is a need, and the good work that you've done.
So this 12, this is a flat fee, right? It doesn't matter how many people call.
Yeah.
And it's open to, if I remember correctly, everyone in the towns. Correct?
Yes.
So could we, as some sort of outreach, sort of, I guess, push it out to the towns, maybe just as a reminder, have them, you know, at least publicize it either on their webpage or Facebook or however they choose to do it. But you know, the service is available to them at no cost. And even push it to the preschool maybe in the area. I know we've developed a relationship with them, with Conception Brilliance and other programs we've done, so maybe that's just sort of the more people we push it out to, the better.
Sure. And it's on the website, it's kind of buried. So if you're, I would assume, you know, if you're in stress and you're trying to find this number, it's very hard to be methodical, look for something. So we're going to move it. It's under community right now. So we want to put it right front center of the webpage. When you're in that really tense situation, you can just find it with a number.
Yeah, and even if we're just, you know, once a month flipping it up on Facebook, just as a thing, to just get people to see it, that would be great to have.
That's a suggestion.
Or even in the, you know, the weekly update, you know, once or twice, and maybe once a quarter or something, just so that people can just have it in the back of their mind that it's out there, and it's great.
It's a service for them.
All right. So next, and looking at some of the items we have coming up, certainly the fields project, certainly waiting for ED to be certified, all those fun things. Dr. Warren and I happened to notice that we have a meeting tonight, and then we weren't scheduled to have a meeting until the last possible day of the first Tuesday of the month on May 7th, which seems like a long time away. So I proposed that we would have a meeting either the 23rd or the 24th of April, just to sort of split that difference a little bit. Certainly the week of the 15th is vacation, so we don't need to do that, but the week of the 22nd, or the days 23rd or 24th, over at the middle school, I would like to propose another meeting, 6:30 our normal time. Also, we do have negotiations going on as well, so that may be appropriate to have an executive session at that point as well. So, thoughts? Anyone?
Either one works.
23rd or 24th?
Tuesday night?
You can do either.
I can do either the 23rd or the 24th, yeah.
All right, Jim, any concerns?
No, we don't worry about it.
All right, so let's do the 24th. That'll put us on a normal Wednesday schedule. So I would take a motion to create a meeting on the 24th at 6:30.
Can I just clarify, did you say the middle school?
Yeah, I did say that.
Yeah, okay.
If I said Laura White, I apologize.
No, I
You have a
don't.
meeting in the library.
I know.
It's not done yet.
Well, then, we're not that yet.
Not that
No,
yet. All right, so I'll take a motion to create a meeting on the 24th then, please.
April 24th.
Yes, moved and seconded. All those in, any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. 24th is.
Oh, man, okay. Oh, no, no, no.
27th
Oh,
and
sorry.
27th.
Sure.
See what the close on the FY 2020. Okay, and Dr. Malone, your superintendent's report.
Yeah, I didn't do a written report this week since we had a lengthy report a week ago, but I would like to announce that Mrs. Beth Lewis, who is currently the assistant principal at Page Hilltop, has been appointed the next principal of the Laura A. White School, elementary school. And as you know, our viewers may not know, Mrs. Desai, the current principal, is retiring as of June 30th. And we had an interview team and interviewed a couple of internal candidates, and we interviewed them, and Mrs. Lewis has been appointed. And I believe that there are a lot of happy educators. She actually went over to Laura White yesterday. They were short. Mrs. Desai was not in, and Mrs. Koch is an assistant. So I said, well, I was going to send Mrs. Lewis over. So it was nice, and Mrs. Lewis said she received a warm welcome from many of the teachers and stuff, and they gave her a chance to just, be in the building and start to understand the culture and the operations that were like. So very, very proud. Very happy. She's a very hard worker and works many, many hours. And was she crossing the river this winter?
She's crossing the river. There's much mirth and merriment in Shirley.
Yeah.
It's great that we can, as I said to you before, it's great that we can promote from within.
Yeah, it is.
Mrs. Lewis has started as a teacher, right? You have to wait for her, so.
Yeah, she actually, she wrote me a beautiful letter, and she talked about her childhood. She's a child of one of 9, and talked about her dad and how hardworking he was, and delivered ice and did several other things, but always managed to give time to his family. And then her mom was the compass of the family, and then how one of the priests came along, and she said, I don't know if you thought I was just the middle of the group getting lost, but recognized her singing. She's very talented. And so she started singing in the church choir and such, went off to college. And when she was graduating, the same priest asked her if she'd be interested in studying here at Kitty Depot. Well, it wasn't known that I'm just starting a child care at the church, so what she did. So she successfully ran that for many years. She was very young. She started like 22 years old. Yeah, it's still there. Yeah. Bill and I were touring around a few weeks ago, and we went by it. So, and then she became a teacher, and she's taught at the Broughton Country Day, and then she came to Page Hilltop. So she's had a lot of experience, which is really important as well. So, and then she went to administration. Nice trajectory.
I mean, a lot of people in the area know her, definitely her father was in my father's wedding party, my father was with her father, then they got coffee, and they both worked with each other in the ice company, so they did a lot of stuff together. Plus, being known, we've had a lot of changes over Laura White and up top, and having somebody they like, this person's probably going to be here a while.
Right.
Just that part of it is curbing her doesn't help.
Right.
But that part of that among stability, they're very happy.
I think my first year at the Page Hilltop, and everyone knows where my office is, and all of a sudden I hear the singing. At least now that she had this trail of children, it was like, it brought tears to your eyes, right, Michelle? Just her singing, and she goes around to the, she brings in students, and she does a lot for the community and such, so anyways, we wish her well, and I'm sure she'll do well.
She will be.
That completes my report for today.
Great, thank you. Right back to you for reimagining the district. We talked about a little bit last week.
Yeah, so last week, and you have it in your packets this week, I asked the committee to be thinking about maybe some goals or a vision they have for the district as we move forward and we write our next district strategy plan. And so you have, what I've given you is actually an action plan, a detailed plan, which you don't really need to see. It supports the first 3 pages, which is our mission, vision, mission, theory of action, and core beliefs. And then the big buckets, the strategic levers, curriculum instruction, educative effectiveness, management operations, school and district culture. So I'd ask you just, stay focused in that area. You don't need to get into the action plan, into specific actions that we would create to achieve those goals. Last week was, introduced it, and, where do you want to see the district in 5 years? And when you're done 5 years down the road, how could you imagine, re-envision what the district looked like 5 years before? And so there were some guiding questions that we took from SRI, School Reform Initiative. So Mr. DeForge and I were discussing, so what we were thinking about if this would work for the committee. We just scheduled another meeting for April 22nd, which gives you a few weeks to have some more time to think about it. And certainly if you want to put them in writing or send me an email, I'll put them together and maybe present them at the May meeting. Does that work? And Michelle and I will collate them, okay?
Cool.
Okay. And we'll look for some commonalities and such, present at the May meeting. Okay? Is that comfortable? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Great. Moving on, next we have our fields project. For those viewers at AIR who may not be aware, last week we had Mr. Cruz from Flansburgh Associates came to our Shirley meeting and presented some costs and based on our master plan, some estimations on different ways we could go about it. So we've all had that week to sort of digest it. Dr. Malone, you had said that you wanted to bring up your reactions and comments.
So since our meeting last week, I convened Plunkett, myself, Mr. Briggs, and of course Mr. Kendall. And we met at the end of last week. We took a look at the Flansburgh, the PowerPoint and the costs that he presented to us, and talked about moving forward. And so the other thing I did was we had another meeting today and invited Mark Wetzel, because if you recall when Mr. Cruz presented, he was concerned about having to tie in for the water, the drainage, and the electricity, so he priced out that we would have to build our own systems. So that's why I wanted to bring in Mark Wetzel, who is the superintendent of the DPW. And we had an excellent meeting today, and Mr. Wetzel, I gave him the documents that Flansburgh provided to us, and he said there will be a cost to tie in, of course, to water, sewer, and electric, but he's very confident we can tie into it. And he needs to look at the stormwater and the drainage. So one of the things that the team, we're going to look at a reduced scope project, and begin with the Norton Field. So really what the school side, what the administration would like to do is to have the phase of the, do all the work that was discussed in the Harold Norton Memorial Field, the track and all the details, and then hope to put a soccer field in that, keep the baseball field and softball fields where they are, and then do some grading, and possibly move the soccer field, and that would may include the retaining wall. So we're gonna find, Mr. Wetzel's gonna look at all the places. He said that he thought that these estimations were pretty good, and he's gonna look at his side of it. He's gonna get back to me on Monday, and then we're gonna work, he's gonna also speak with Mr. Cruz, and we're gonna work on bringing the cost down, narrowing the scope of the project to focus on the field, and then the baseball field and the softball field, and then maybe work with the towns to go down to the lower playing field and grade it, and move the rocks and make it safe for the football team to practice on. And I did email Mr. Norton over the last few days to ask if his pledge was still in play, and he confirmed that it is. So take any questions and.
Yeah, I'm just gonna after that let it just sort of know how the week's digested. So, anyone's comments or questions?
My comment would be that I think that's probably a really good approach, is to get started on something right away. And I think with that plan, we address not only the issue with the track, but we also address soccer, football, and with it being turf, which I'm assuming is what you would go with. You know, those teams can play on there all day, all night, which would probably make a lot of our games, night games. And then, so then we'd be able to use that for practice and games. Yeah, that's a pretty good compromise until we can, you know.
Mr. Kendall's comfortable with the plan. If we can, I know, I think, Mr. Quinty, you had talked about on that baseball field, moving help me.
The left field line.
The left field line. I don't think engineering wise, it's we can do that.
From which standpoint?
I think it had to do with, I think Mr. Cruz talked about it too, and I'm trying to recall the specific reason, but I think it has to do with the parking and the cars or something. I'll get that specific information for you, but we'd still look at it. But I think they said it would be, and that's why, look, you know, the soccer field going the other way.
Yeah, there are a lot of moving parts here. There's no way you can, I think the biggest things to answer are the hookups for if water is required, if who's required, what the power requirements are, that sort of stuff. A lot of the other specific things move left, right, all that, but you want to make sure that that we don't have to cut new connections to existing utilities. If we can run off the utilities, that's really the biggest question to answer right now.
Yeah, it is. And
it's
it would save, save quite a bit of money in the project, so.
Right. And it gives you more flexibility in relocating anything or doing what you want to do.
Right.
If you know that exists and where the trunks are, it gives you much more flexibility.
Right. And so, like, what you do is, of course, so say the irrigation in the field, so like we were talking today, that might be an add-on or takeaway, depending where we get with the cost of the work we know we need to do. So there are things that are in the Flansburgh proposal that you could consider an add-on, you could consider, taking it away to get to a cost where we think we could go back to Shirley and get, a debt exclusion approved to get the work.
No matter what ends up with the layout, though, I would think if you are counting on a grass competition field anywhere, you have to irrigate. You can't have a healthy turf that's going to take the traffic if it's not irrigated. You just can't tell the weather. So no matter what we do, I mean, in practice areas, you can sort of like guess and you can do stuff with water cannons, but if it's going to be a competition field, you're going to need irrigation. There's just no way it's not going to do what you need if you don't do it.
It would be short-sighted, I agree, it would be short, we'd be chasing it. So I would ask the committee to let the school administration team continue working on this project and to work with Mr. Wetzel and then come back to the committee with our recommendation. Okay?
So we could, for that next April meeting, would that be something?
Well,
I know he's very busy.
Yeah, he said to get back to me, the beginning of the week, and then we, have another meeting, so hopefully, Hopefully, I did ask Mr. Cruz, because he did provide us cost estimates for option 3. You know, and then I asked if he would give us that, so he's doing that as well. Okay?
And thank you for engaging Mr. Wetzel. I know that the DPW and Town of Air have been great partners with us in the past, and he was certainly around for some of the early field committee meetings, so he's aware of what we're trying to get at. And
Yeah, he's a great resource. He's an engineer, you know, by trade, and so he's also on the whole RFP process. You know, he gave us just some timelines and some guidance around that as well. So he's an excellent resource, and he's very supportive.
I just thought I had thought of something and it's going on.
Well, I was just going to ask the question, I think we discussed it, but I guess my question would be, we do have a affirmative vote in there, and for funding. Yeah. We just would need that in Shirley. Yeah. I guess we just would want to confirm that nothing changes with that vote because the scope of the project changes.
In here?
Yeah.
I actually had a meeting with Mr. Town Administrator Rob Quaprion today about other things, and so the ballot language is set up to, so I don't think, yeah, so we're pretty sure you wouldn't have to go back here. I mean, if it exceeded that, you know, that we're not going to go to that number, so.
I will refill you from December 20th. I don't think you were at the December 21st meeting, okay? Thank you.
But anyway, I'll read forward to you. We do have language from bond council on what is, on sort of where we're at and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
just have some of that.
I will send that.
I probably do have that.
It will be in the pack from December 21st. So that was something similar to what we included that when we notified the town, sort of our next steps shortly thereafter. So they were aware of what our options were.
Yeah, so I think, you know, once we get this reduced scope, and then you would, the school committee, the chair would ask the Shirley Board of Selectmen to authorize a debt exclusion election, and then we all know it's 35 days before you can hold the election. So we're still talking, you know, and
With the, I would say though, with the change in scope of the project, with this amount of changes, that I don't think, I'm not saying we have to back the process up, and I think that at some point when we come up with whatever the plan is going to be that we're going to move forward for, that somebody from here or the committee here should go to an Air Selectmen's meeting and a Shirley Selectmen's meeting to explain what we did.
yeah, oh yes, sure.
I think that should happen.
Good suggestion, yeah.
Well, I don't disagree that, you know, explaining that. Again, explaining the process. You know.
And I did talk to Robert about today that, you know, kind of what I was doing and all that, so he has some information, but certainly we should go back, and I will talk to Mr. McGovern as well.
One other question. Is there any possibility of this getting to the point of ballot before the end of school?
Before June? Well, if everything, you know, we're going to try.
That would be ideal.
We're going to try to.
Right, having wait till fall.
Because then, you know, then you have to, once you have the funding, then you have to go out for design services, and that takes quite a long time. And then from the design services, then you have to go out to bid for the actual project. So there's several steps that have to, but I think the RFP, we have an RFP that we had already developed, and we had in there design and.
We had two different options. We had the soup to nuts, the whole thing, the design services, then construction, and we just had the design services.
So we've been
So we
working.
can go either way.
Yeah, so we'd have to.
Just be ideal. We
Right,
could
try
get
something, yeah, I understand.
Yeah, so we're
Time to
looking
move
at
on.
early May.
Yeah.
Early May to get it done. It's 35 days, it's not 35 business days. Okay, so.
I mean, we know the football team will be playing football on the field out here this fall, so, you know, sorry.
Gotta go.
I thought I turned that down.
As long as it's not tomorrow morning at this time, I'm good with that sound.
No, I'm on pickup duty, so I have to excuse myself.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. So with Charlie leaving, we do use our quorum to vote on the bullying policy, but we can still do a read of it and then
Next week.
Yes, and then next week we will vote on it. So Jim, if you want to go over the last of our, I'm sorry, the revisions, correct? You want to walk us through those, and then you can do another read, final read.
Okay, if you turn to page 2, you can see the changes there. I'm just recommending to change the changes. I just changed it to the students will not be subject to discipline. I wanted to have horrible students, and I think, however, it's just thrown in there for no apparent reason. We don't really need it. So the reading of the last sentence would become, the students will not be subject to discipline for failing to report bullying. This entire paragraph talks about those that are a target for anyone that observes it. This just basically recognizes that they're in a difficult social situation and we can't hold them accountable for not being able to handle it, because in many cases adults can't handle it either. So that's about a change. And I just wanted a clarification. I think it's worded okay. The next change on page 3 on the report, I did not intend that the report would be provided during the performance appraisal, just that when the superintendent has their appraisal, one of the items in there would be, is this being done? Is there an actual, right now it says that, the school, for each principal would be maintaining a file. And at some point during the year, it wouldn't necessarily have to be at their annual performance appraisal, but at some point during the year, they'd be responsible for sharing whatever they have with the superintendent's office.
So this is the paragraph that says each school shall document any incident.
Yes, right. This is just to ensure that once a year, the superintendent will be checking and make sure that this actually exists.
So your intent is that each school, the principal will ensure that they're documenting any bullying incidents, that we have all the information on the bullying policy too that they're supposed to document. So you would ask the principals to, when they write their summative evaluation, summative assessment of their goals, goal attainment and such, that they would include some information.
Exactly, right, because the previous paragraph had them submitting your report monthly, which is not going to happen and hopefully isn't necessary.
Right.
So this would just be a part of the review. Somebody would be looking at this to make sure it happens. And then I'm not sure how we end up doing this when the training and assessment, especially the training part, because a lot of that probably happens early in the year for training with the teaching staff, but coaches are assigned more than one time a year, so I'm not exactly sure how we do that. I'm glad that it's in here and I think it needs to be done, but I'm not exactly sure the nuts and bolts and how we do it.
You asked me about that. I think to get back to that, Steve Kendall, AD Director Steve Kendall, showed that the coaches have bullying training. I think coming up, moving forward too, they're going to have a bigger component on bullying training for coaches.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that's all I have.
I did follow up on that. I'm just wondering about the line about a report will be provided annually to the superintendent. To constitute a part of the principal's performance review. It sounds like I'll be writing something about that, so I'm wondering.
Yes, bring it.
I'm trying to think of the wording. So maybe it should be provided annually, excuse me?
I was just gonna say, and be provided as part of the principal, or like be discussed as part of the principal's? Like who's, or a report will be provided annually to the superintendent at the time of the principal's performance review?
It doesn't, as long as it's done annually, it doesn't be the compliance to the procedure will be annual. The report can be annual as well, but it can be on a different time period. You can do it. pretty bad. I don't know what they normally do performance appraisals, but the bullying review part could be in June.
Yeah, I mean,
Whatever
maybe
you
just, we
want.
just
As long as
have.
it's once a year, it doesn't matter. It doesn't
Your,
matter.
your, you
Coincide.
want, your intent is to have report submitted.
Right,
And
once
so
a year,
that- Yeah,
any time in the year though,
Right.
whenever works. And then when, the report gets submitted and then as a part of, when you're doing your review with the principal, you'd be saying, all right, that was done. And I'm happy with what's going on, but they don't need to coincide.
You could say it will be confirmed during the principal's, or receipt will be confirmed during the principal's performance review.
yeah,
It's
it's not
just-
part of their rubric, but I get it, yeah, okay. And receipt will be confirmed during the, okay. That work? And receipt of such report will be confirmed.
You can work with Michelle to word that.
Yeah, yes, exactly, we'll look at it,
And we'll-
wordsmith it a little bit better.
And send to it.
Sure.
Thank you, Jim. Anything else, policy-wise? No?
So,
Oh, all right. So we did chairman's notes way up there earlier. I don't have any other topics not reasonably anticipated 48 hours in advance. Communications, I guess I'll do one this week since.
I'll do it.
No? Okay.
You talk about it. So Friday, April 5th, is the Laura A. White Father-Daughter Dance from 6 to 8 at Laura A. White. Friday through Sunday, April 5th through the 7th, is Mary Poppins Jr. 7 p.m. Friday and Saturday, and Sunday at 2 p.m. in the middle school auditorium. Saturday, April 6th is the concert band Micah Festival, 9:30 at Bellingham High School. Sunday, April 7th is the concert Micah Festival at 4:20 at Westboro High School. Monday, April 8th is the Shirley Special Town Meeting at 7:15 in the middle school auditorium. Tuesday, April 9th is the Early Childhood Learning Center presents Countdown to Kindergarten Preschool Concert. This is a free concert for families of students registering to attend preschool or kindergarten next school year. That's from 6 to 7 at the Page Hilltop Cultural Arts Center. Monday through Friday, April 15th through 19th, there'll be no school for April vacation week. We just added a school committee meeting for April 24th. And then we'll have another school committee meeting on Tuesday, May 7th at 6:30 here in the high school LGI room. Monday, May 13th is the AIR annual town meeting, 7 p.m. in the high school auditorium. Wednesday, May 15th is our school committee meeting, 6:30 in the middle school library. Sunday, May 19th is the Janice Bresnahan Run for Education at the high school campus. Wednesday, May 22nd is Laura A. White Arts Night from 6 to 8 at Laura A. White. Wednesday, May 22nd is the Air Shirley Regional High School Pops Concert, 7 p.m. in the high school auditorium. And Sunday, September 29th is the Holdenwood Trail Run in Shirley's Town Meeting.
April 29th. Shirley Town Meeting is April 29th.
Thought it was May.
yeah, it's later.
May
No, it's June.
Maybe that's
It's
why it's
late.
not.
It's June, I think.
The Shirley annual town meeting?
Yeah.
No?
I kept wanting to say.
Oh, I thought it was April,
It's not April.
yeah, it was April 29th.
Go on the website.
On there now, hold on a second.
And here is the 13th of May.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kept thinking I was going to be saying Shirley Town Meeting, and then I saw school, I couldn't.
Yeah, because it was really, that's why we had to do the budget that much earlier.
Well, I think it was. I thought it got moved because they had to sneak in this.
Oh, wow.
SDM
No, I
to
didn't,
square
I didn't
things
hear
away.
that.
Oh, did that bump it back?
I think that's what happened, but, well,
It does not.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
Surely, May
Did they
13th.
set it at their last meeting?
So he,
They closed the warrant for the April.
so I guess they scheduled it to the same night as air. Charlie just found it on the website, May 13th.
Oh,
Alright. I'm calling Mike anyhow, just to give him updates, I guess I'll ask him about it. So,
we are crowd divided.
that was last year too. I'll just add two other things. The robotics and Drummer 1 is competing Momentum Championship, and I think they're gonna be at WPI April 10th to the 13th, correct? Yes. And then we'll add April 24th, we have a school committee meeting for the school. Okay.
So this year's theme of Holdenwood is going for gold.
We're going for gold?
Shirts are gonna be a nice gold color this year.
Nice. Please.
Yes, yeah, we originally were going to go with, this like, cornflower blue, and it turns out that it was not gonna be cornflower blue. Like what the vendor was, gave us.
Yeah.
No. They were like, oh, we'll do like a breast cancer pink theme. And all they had was safety pink, which was like sunglass bright pink. Go yellow, so. We're trying to stay away from colors we've done in the past.
Yeah, that's hard.
It's hard.
Especially when you're limited with fabric.
And when you're that very busy logo.
I think gold would be great.
Here or there. I forget the color. Anyhow, all right, with that, if there's nothing else, I will take a motion to adjourn at 7:46. Moved and seconded, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? We are adjourned at 7:46.